Welcome back to Uplift Women's Wellness. I'm Bethany Bush, and with my co-host, Aria Zahed, we are diving headfirst into Season 2.
Last season, we cracked open necessary conversations: friendships, money, representation, mental health, medical abuse, and so much more. Thank you for making space for your healing.
This season is not getting any lighter. It's getting even more gritty, more honest, and more demanding of change. Because we know what it's like to feel dismissed, unheard, or stuck in the dark.
We're here to give you the honest dialogue and awareness to finally bring you out of the maze and back to your center. From reclaiming your financial power to healing your nervous system, we are demanding more for you.
This is our table, and you are always welcome here. Let's start the conversation. All right, thank you for being here with us today. I'm really excited for this conversation because the LGBTQ plus media has played a huge role in how our communities see themselves, how we're represented, and how we're understood by the world. And you've been doing this work for decades, long before it was a regular thing. And long before it was like companies were adding it to their DEI and, looping it in and being like, yes, we actually do care about you, but not really. So I'd love for you to start us off just by introducing yourself, telling our listeners who you are, and kind of like what brought you into starting Inspired Media. And we can go from there and just like how you got pulled into this work. And we would also love if you could give us a history lesson, because queer media has been basically your life purpose. I don't know a bunch about it, so I would love to get educated.
We do start. How many hours do we have? It's been a long time. So I actually got obsessed with media when I was 13 years old, I believe. Back in Kuwait. I was born in Kuwait. I'm Lebanese, Palestinian / Italian, Canadian now. And my parents met in Kuwait, and we were born there. I watched the show on TV when I was 13, and it was talking about the media and the influence in media and the power in media. And I think at that age, my brain went into, my God, nobody should have this much power or this much influence. And if you have this influence, because also I'm a history buff, all these things, and I know that propaganda and media has played some role in past atrocities. So it just got me thinking, you know what? I really want to be a force of good in this world that is so powerful, that shapes our. And a lot of people say, oh, I'm not influenced by marketing, or I'm not influenced by media or by advertising. Honey, you are. You just don't know it. It's just we're bombarded by messages, and our brain absorbs those messages in a different way. So at 18, I said to Mom, I'm going to Canada. My uncles were here, my aunt, and I'm going to Canada to study advertising. She says, heck, you're going by yourself. We're all going. So everybody came here. And I studied creative advertising and broadcasting when I came here. And my involvement in the community, I think I was still kind of in the closet and living with my parents a little bit away from downtown. And I heard that there's this festival that many people come together and they celebrate whatever. So I took the subway and went downtown to Pride Day and exited the subway in the gay village here in Toronto. And I see all those drag queens and colorful people in leather and I don't know if you have P flag in the US, yeah. So P flag, mom's giving free hugs. I'm like, yes, please. And I thought, you know what? I just finished my studies and I got the option in either going corporate and working for an ad agency or actually getting involved in something that I believe in. So next day I walked into the leading queer media at that time, and I just like shyly, I think I was 19 or something. And I said to the receptionist, I just want to work here, but I'll do anything. I'll wash the bathroom floors for you, and I'll work for free for a couple of months. And he went and called the advertising director, and she's Carolyn Ellie. Hello. I don't know what she is now, but she gave me my first opportunity. She says, oh my God, with this attitude, we don't have a job, but come on in. I'll make you a job. She made me the advertising coordinator, and that's where my journey started in Clear Media. I At that time, I'm actually just gonna take it from there before I introduce like fully what I do now. So I worked as an advertising coordinator, and at the time, and you said history, a bit of lesson back then. The second day they found me behind my partition crying because I did not know that I was supposed to do cold calls to talk to advertisers and businesses, whatever. And in late '89, people were still saying F off, you F, basically hang up. And for a 19, 20-year-old, so they found me crying. But I always say, no, it changed. Queer media has played a huge role in our getting our equal rights. I don't know. I know some of the publications that played a role in the USA. In Canada, here there was a magazine called The Body Politics, and it necessarily was the publication or the media that pushed a lot of the politicians to realize that there's a community that they have to listen to. When I worked at that publication Extra at the beginning, we were part of demonstrations when they strike down like the first reading of the equal marriage bill. We did the lie down, what do you call it, lie in on the street or whatever. So queer media was the leader in that conversation. Um, at that time, I worked there for a couple of years, and then I went to work for the Pink Pages Directory, which I'm the publisher and owner of now. But so I worked for the ex-publisher of the directory. Both those publications started at the rise of the queer village in Toronto. So there was a newspaper and there was a directory, and that held the space for. Then also, then businesses started and leaders or whatever, and government started realizing, oh, there's a community, and a community shapes when there are a radio and a magazine and a directory and a village, and people start seeing the legitimacy of this community sort of thing. So I went and worked at the Pink Pages Directory. I worked there for 12 years and have grown them significantly in my tenure there. But that's when relationships with advertisers and businesses started to change. There was a big grocery chain in Canada that early on in my career, I got a call from the marketing manager, Sylvia, who we're still actually friends on Facebook to this day. And she's like, I just graduated from college and started as a marketing manager. I have no idea about this community. I'm going to be honest with you. But my bosses says this looks like a fantastic community to go after, and I need you to teach me. So we would meet for lunch and talk and whatever. Funny, a few times after meeting, she says to me, "Oh my God, gay people are just as boring as the rest of us." What do you think? I'm sitting here thinking about sex. I'm sitting here thinking have to go home and cook and do my laundry, and of course we're boring. And I actually take that as a compliment. When you get to know us, you realize that we all
You're
share.
people.
We're all just people. To think that there's a difference between us as people, there isn't. The sexual aspect is the bedroom thing, and you know what? Even within the mainstream and the straight community, there's the people who have kinks and fetishes and sexual preferences. But that has nothing to do with the fact that they still need to live and eat and be respected and loved and all that sort of stuff. So that was a beautiful observation for her. She started using drag queens in her ads, whatever. Later on, story with Sylvia as well is she tells me the story that she would go home to her husband, who was she's as described by her a total jock, and she would tell him about all this fabulous community that she's dealing with for work, whatever. And then one day, they're at a sports bar, and somebody gets up and screamed the F word at a screen. And her husband grabbed the guy by his shirt and said, "If you ever call anybody that name, you're gonna have to deal with me." And I was like, you know what? I don't care about any of the wins of selling ads in my career. Changing attitudes is the bigger win that I experienced in this journey from hanging up the phone on us to people starting to see us, and as you say, and they're starting to put us in, and as mandatory DEI and all that sort of stuff. But Along the way, there was real people that were affected by those conversations, and people who learned from us, and we learned from others. So yes, I worked at that point, there was a bidding war on me because I would come into publications and make and grow them and whatever. So then I worked for a gay men magazine for a couple of years that was hugely big, influential in our mediascape in Canada. After a couple of years of them trying to negotiate my coming there, eventually I went back to the Pink Pages for about a year. That concluded about 17 years of working for with other people. But I just wanted a bit of change, so I went on my own, started Inspired Media as an ad agent, as marketing, advertising, graphic design, websites, that sort of thing. And then my ex-publisher of the Pink Pages, after 2 years of Inspired Media, called me and said, I want to retire and I have really good offers on the table, but I think you're the one who will be able to carry it into the future for the community. So I said, I'm actually kind of was yearning to get back into media. It's where my love is. So I said, give me 24 hours. I called my mom, I called the bank, I called my sister, put a bunch of money together and bought the Pink Pages directory. And it was Toronto centric still when I bought it, or when I took it over. And then about a year into it, I was in Ottawa, sitting at the table with the mayor of Ottawa, and he says, "When are you going to bring the Pink Pages directly to Ottawa?" I said, "Give me 2 days," and then in 2 days I expanded it to Ontario, and then because I also started, I was living not in Toronto. When you live downtown in West Metro, you forget the world outside. You're concentrated on like the downtown. But I moved to the suburbs, and I started seeing queer people, LGBT people everywhere. So I was like, you know what? We need to address all those people that are not just in Toronto. So I went. We started with Ontario, and then we went North America with the Pink Pages. So I am so a little bit introduction to myself. I am the publisher of the Pink Pages directory, which has been around for 36 years. It is considered an iconic publication in Canada, the longest and oldest and only directory of its kind for the community in Canada. And as we entered the U.S. and the North American market, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we were named by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and the top 4 resources to reach LGBT people in North America. Sadly, since your new president took over, all those things were erased of all the websites. I'm hoping that there's an archive of it and they'll bring it back in because eventually it'll be gone.
Yes, we're hoping sooner rather than later.
we're with you.
Thank you. We are not part of the people that agree. We are part of the people that are with you. And we thank Canadians for all of your help and also helping us down here.
It's very sad. It breaks my heart when I see like sometimes we put a post because our audience is both the U.S. and Canada, and we put a post about the U.S. and we get some Canadians saying, "I'm never going to the U.S." Like, you understand, but you have to remember that most of the majority of the people in the U.S. don't want this. We don't want to talk about politics, but along the way, okay, so that's the Pink Pages directory. I launched a magazine called Pink Play Mags, publisher of a lifestyle, community issues, that sort of thing, and it's been around for 17 years. So it now is in the group of longest published queer magazines in Canada's history. We have a magazine called The Buzz Magazine, and that's an entertainment magazine. Also now entered the school into or the group of longest published magazines. We have a talk show called On the Couch on Rogers TV Ontario that I'm the producer and the host of. And I was telling a little bit of the story before we started. 12 years ago, my team said, we got to have some video component. Let's do a show and you're going to be the host. Like, no, I don't like camera. I don't like but then I filmed a couple of episodes. Like, oh my god, I love putting the microphone in people's faces and have them talk. And I realized I have a natural curiosity about people. So it's been a fantastic show. It's very hugely respected and considered iconic now. We had a talk show that started during COVID because we were bored out of our minds. So we started doing a show called The Queer Bunch, where people talk about issues of the community, like the Brady Bunch, because it was on Zoom and that's where the name came because we were like little squares. So we called it the Queer Bunch. We kind of took hiatus since last May, but we're coming back in the next few weeks. So I'm excited about getting that show back. What else? Along the way, I founded an organization, a not-for-profit called Inspire Awards, and Inspire Awards celebrates the good work and accomplishments of the LGBT community annually. It's a made up of a collective of the leading organizations in the city and Canada. Actually, it's Pride Toronto, the Pink Pages, the Ontario Queer Chamber of Commerce, the Canadian Chamber of Commerce, and so on. So we do that. A couple of years ago, as I started on the side of 5 years ago, also during COVID. I mean, COVID created so many creative people. we were trying to figure out what to do with our time. So somebody reached out, and I would before that I would record me singing on Facebook at like 2 o'clock in the morning. And somebody actually reached out and said, "I love what you're doing, and I want to work with you, a producer in the community." So I was like, "Are you serious?" I mean, I come from a musical family in Lebanon. My two aunts are considered trailblazers in women entering music in Lebanon. One of them was a famous singer, and one of them, at some point, became the head of the TV station and the radio station. There's only one TV station, one radio station in Lebanon. So yeah, she got to the top of that. So I said, yeah, I mean, our family has always respected music and whatever. So I gave it a go, and now I'm also on the side an artist, singer, songwriter. And I just dropped an album recently and a song for the holiday season, music videos, all that sort of stuff. But I say this not to promote me as an artist, but I say this because I started, as part of the conversation, I started hearing from a lot of queer artists that there's not a lot of opportunities. And they get also told to tone it down, being queer and that sort of thing. So I started lobbying Pride Toronto to give me a green light to start a queer music, live entertainment music festival. So we launched that a couple of years ago called the Cubitical, and now it went from a 1 day thing to 5 days in one of the biggest areas in Toronto last year, making it the only festival of its kind in all of Canada, specifically for queer artists. And we're in negotiations for expansions and more opportunities. So that's what I do.
So basically, you've changed the world.
No. I changed the world because I work with awesome people who help with all of this stuff that I do. So yeah,
Thank you.
I love the world. I mean, in a way, there's sometimes I get actually pushback saying Antoine lives in his own peach colored world and like a fantasy of living in a Disney movie. But I don't know. I don't know if I can see the world in any other way. I know the world is. I mean, and you'll see that in a lot of my songs. They are very hopeful. I write a lot in that space. Almost. Yeah. I don't want to call them not childish, but with a childlike hope that we are, that the world could be a better place.
Well, we need more of that right now. We need more kindness. We need more hope. We need more compassion and understanding and forgiveness, and that seeing the world for the first time through a child's eyes, and just curiosity and acceptance rather than hatred.
Absolutely, I agree with you. Actually, funny sexual. I love hanging out with, like, when my nephews were young and my niece. That was my favorite time of my life, when I actually got to spend so much time with them, because they are so uncorrupted. They're like what they bring to the table is so beautiful in their minds. Everything is pretty and beautiful, and I love that. And yeah, maybe I write my songs with that hope in them. But yeah, I'm not ashamed of it.
Good, you shouldn't be. And did all of this, because I mean, none of this is easy, right? You've kind of trailblazed path after path after path. None of this has been easy. So how much of it was met with that guy who hung up on you and called you names and basically told you to F off?
It's not easy. No, no, you have to push. But I don't take no for an answer. Maybe I don't know. I, I make things happen in the community, and the community here, the local community, knows that. So they come to me to make things happen sometimes because they know that there's a project that I try to do through the Inspire Awards that I mentioned, and we have a wonderful queer person was in the city of Toronto, Councillor Kristen Wantam. And when we founded the Inspire Awards, I said, you know what? I want the city to donate a piece of a park or a land or something where we can create some sort of physical representation of those people's story who have the lifetime recipients who have contributed to the community over a lifetime. And I continued lobbying year after year after year for about 10 years until at one point she says, "You're not gonna get off my back unless I do I give you something." I said, "See, it would have been easier if you realized that 10 years ago. It would have saved you about 20 meetings a year." And I finally got it. If I believe in something that's for good of people, I probably will. I don't remember an incident where I just kind of backed away. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. Make me just stubborn. I don't know.
I,
Or if I believe in something that needs to happen in the world, I try my best.
I mean, that's what we're trying to do at Head to Toe Strength and with Uplift Women's Wellness, our show, because we're tired of media and the conversations that are shoved down our throats about women, about the queer community. It's like not every woman and not every person actually has that vision or that idea or sees the world that way.
If you keep going, never give up. I think I have a little. When I first opened the company, I went out for Chinese, and I think I have a fortune cookie that says "Perseverance pays off," and I have it on one of my frames on the walls. It's still there, because perseverance pays off.
Amazing.
I always recommend to everybody, just don't give up on your dreams. I know sometimes it's hard, and I've seen it. I've seen people try to get like really wonderful idea but give up on it too fast. I know it's hard. I know that I've there has been um, I don't know if I believe in luck, but maybe there has been an element of luck or blessings where somehow I found the way to do something. And I know some people start with a wonderful concept and they do have the passion and they do have the drive, but after a few of no's and closed doors, a couple of years, they give up on that. And I understand. It's just that doesn't make them at fault or doesn't make them less off. It depends on how much you can take. I can take a lot of rejection before I give up, kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, that's good.
So I think that, but maybe part of it. The other thing is, I mean, now it's easier for me to get things done. So, and when you create all those relationships and connections with the community and influence and all that sort of stuff, um, I'm and I say, like, with the music festival, I do have a partner on that division, Sherry Sylvain, an artist, and you say, you know what, we have the years of Pride Toronto and the city and all these things. So if we don't do it, who's gonna do it? Like, we kind of have to step up to the plate. If we're able to do something and you're able to make it happen, then yeah, step up to the plate is kind of what I do.
Does it ever get tiring to constantly be the one having to step up to the plate and constantly essentially go to war because you've been doing this since the late 80s and getting slapped in the face?
Yeah.
Does it ever, like, do you ever wake up and you don't want to put your cape on that day where you're just like, I don't want to fight this fight today, because it's still a fight?
Absolutely. Actually, absolutely. There are times when I find it very hard. Having spent time on the fight to see 20, 35, 36 years later in 2026, we're still fighting things that I thought maybe in 2000 will, as things started improving, I thought there's elements of taking one step forward, 20 steps back now. Yeah, and I've voiced that sometimes, that you know what, I'm so tired of this. But then I put on my Superman T-shirt. I do. I have a Superman. When I'm feeling crappy and I can't fight, I put on my Superman T-shirt.
I love that.
You gotta amuse yourself to get to. Well, you know what? Because it is hard. Life is hard. Doing the work that we do and to push things and to, be an innovator in pushing new ideas or whatever. It could, yeah. If I'd be lying if I said to you, it's not tiring, or it's not. Sometimes you want to just go under the cover and say, "F this! I'm not getting up today. I don't want to. I don't want to fight this fight." But then you dust yourself off, you get up, you get to back to the work.
Well, and it's so important, like in our fight for women and women of color, we try to focus the most on women of color and the queer community and women within, because it's hurtful. It's almost like we're forgotten, we're not seen. And then if one of us ends up somewhere in media, it's like, ugh, DEI hire, or ugh, they're so this and so that. It's like, well, but there's millions upon millions of people that exist like this in the world, so we should be focused to them.
When you said not feeling seen, I almost started crying.
Oh,
It's one of the things that I part of the media, and when I first took over the media, or sorry, started the media here, even in old traditional queer media, it was gay and lesbian, but it was always gay. It was, and I heard from so many women talking about queer publications, and they open as only male ads or bathhouse ads or ads about guys and all that sort of stuff. So we named it gay and lesbian, but we know we live in a world where, yeah, men are take over basically. So that I thought was not fair and was not right, and it kind of actually kind of always hurt me when I heard that from women in the community. So when I started Inspired Media, I made sure that our publications, our medias, our shows are extremely representative of as many of the community as you can, because not seeing yourself is really demoralizing.
Aria, we talked about representation in Aria. I don't know how far you want to talk about this. She talks about not seeing herself.
Yeah, Antoine, yes, because I'm half Persian, half Indian, and growing up, there was no media representation of anyone from either country, let alone both. And then it was very, white as well. So it was a little struggle for me where I would look in the mirror and I wouldn't really be able to connect with myself. So it's really important to have representation of all ethnicities, all colors, all backgrounds, sexualities. It means a lot for children growing up.
Absolutely. I say to my editors after a couple of issues of this, a guy on the cover is like, okay, you have to make sure that we're addressing everybody, because and authenticities, genders, abilities, everybody should be represented in media, and I hope that we have made sure that within the 17 years of publishing magazines that we have been as inclusive as we can of everybody. We always say to our writers, write from a human. We all share a human perspective on things. Write from that. Write from your own experience. Yeah. So I fully agree with you, because back to my saying that media influences so much. Like, this is why I got into this, is because we see ourselves in the magazines and in the movies and in the shows and all these things. I'm I'm uh, I'm Arabic, as I mentioned. I still find it very hard that usually the Arab is either the taxi driver, the terrorist, or yeah, and I think a Persian and Indian would feel the same. Yeah. Or the butt of the joke, and it gets very, very tiring. I have considered that, but I don't know where I am, like now at this stage of with everything that I have. I wish that I have the ability to produce more movies and shows where a lot of ethnicities that are usually portrayed in a bad way in media.
Yes.
Yeah, that is definitely something that we should. I mean, I loved seeing things like, or starting to see things like, Black Panther and all black production, what do you call it? Crazy Rich Asians. That sort of. There's a bit of attempt, but I'm yet to see more. I want to see more of that drive.
Yes, I agree. And in California, we are very mixed. And so like lots of diversity here in Southern California, which is amazing. But then you go see a movie and it's
I was
not
gonna say,
like
well,
that.
Bobby for putting it on the movies because they have, and that's the thing. In real life is beautiful and diverse, but media has not caught up yet with their
Yes.
real life because it is controlled still by white men. Yeah.
Yes, I say that all the time. I say like white men in a boardroom and they're usually straight cis men.
Nothing against anybody, including white men or anything. But you know what? We can all do better. We can all understand that there's a beauty in diversity. I love being Toronto. Toronto is a hugely diverse city. It's like a melting pot of everybody. And when I'm on the train, on the subway, and I see people from all over the world, I find such beauty in it. We have every experience of every restaurant or cuisine.
We are going to take a quick pause from today's conversation, but we want to use this moment to remind you why Head to Toe Strength does this work.
Our mission was born from my lived experience. I was disowned for who I loved, dismissed and harmed by medical bias, and worked inside fitness centers that only push diet culture over real care.
Head to Toe Strength exists to build the kind of support you need right now, a place where every body, every identity, and every story is fully seen, heard, and supported.
If you are ready to move from feeling stuck and unseen to a place of genuine, holistic strength, if you're ready to stop just surviving and start thriving, we are ready to guide you.
Visit headtotoestrength.com today to book a free introductory call with our team and start your journey with us. That's headtotoestrength.com.
The same feeling. We're still the same human beings. So you know what? Since we share this as a world, as a species, then we need to portray it better. We need to make sure that everybody feels and sees themselves in media.
Well, and even like, your main focus is your whole job is media, and I handle all of our social media, all of our content, all of everything, and trying to find stock images that are for our direct. So, I mean, Ari and I use ourselves as much as we can, but trying to find just stock media, the things that you have to type in to these big corporations for images is horrifying.
We have the same challenges trying to put a magazine together, trying to find the right pictures to portray that. So yes, absolutely, I agree with you. So yeah, I don't know. We're gonna keep pushing. We're gonna keep talking about it. We're gonna keep pushing. We're gonna keep voicing that. I know that some of the decisions made sometimes is they think nobody's gonna go see it. It's not gonna make money when it comes to media, but we proved that no, a good story is a good story. You just have to produce it, put it out there. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I saw this on your social media or somewhere else that no actual market research or any type of directed media is for the queer community. Like, no research is actually done in that viewership group.
Would you? Sorry, no. We actually there's a lot.
Is there?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually was. I'm doing a workshop for a webinar for a Chamber of Commerce, a mainstream Chamber of Commerce, and I was doing some of this, putting in numbers today. There's definitely, yeah, no, look around. You'll find a lot of, and a lot of stats show that queer people are more inclined to support those where they see themselves represented, where they see companies that are reaching out to them directly in queer media. So yes, there is stats out there supporting the message that you know what, and I'm pretty sure that the same stats would be for an Asian market or a black market, whatever. Everybody wants to see themselves represented and valued and included.
That's what I mean. I think I said it wrong. It's not me. I'm trying to get where a lot of like the test groups are a bunch of, regular North American, European based white individuals who are cis. It's like when they're testing shows and imagery and advertisements, none of it is actually targeted towards the people who could potentially want the product.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, you're right. It has to do. Yes, you know what? If you're asking the wrong people, then you're gonna get that answer basically. So you have to. So even research companies and those that are the decision makers have to do better in actually asking the right people. Trust me. If who said? God, it was about a bad representation. Oh. Do you know the movie The Party? An old movie from the 60s.
Mm-mm.
Peter Seller.
Mm-mm.
About okay. Yeah, it was Peter Seller. I don't know if you know who Peter Seller is. Famous actor. Back did a lot of movies in the 60s and 70s. The Party is a comedy. Was a huge movie at the time. But Peter Seller is a white guy who played a brown face, an Indian character with the whole Indian accent or what have you. I know, but there's more. The movie was popular at that time because at that time people thought it was okay, but it was also popular in the Arabic world and in the Indian world and all of that. But I'll tell you, it's actually very very sad because I was watching a documentary about why was it popular, why was it accepted by Indians and Arabs, whatever, because we were dying to see any representation of ourselves on a screen that we were okay with a brown somebody doing a brown face because now all of a sudden somebody is speaking like that part of the world in a Hollywood movie. That's damn sad. That's what we had to latch on. So sometimes even if we find ourselves included in a comical way in a movie, we think that's okay. No, not only just inclusion. I think we need positive inclusion. I think we need the real inclusion. And I bet you, based on that movie was popular and did very well, even in those areas of the world. Produce a proper movie with a positive representation, and people will come out. You will fill the theaters because we need that. The same way that I think every Asian friend ran to watch Crazy Rich Asians because oh my God, all of a sudden. So trust me, every Indian or Arabic or anybody make a movie for them or include them because the North American market will learn about them and you will get some ticket sales. But yeah, how do we get to those people who make those decisions?
Well, you sound like you're working your way up that totem pole pretty quickly.
I was Hollywood. I would be creating a lot of waves because yeah, I would not put up with it. I would not put up with this. So yeah, and truly like and months ago I thought, you know what, I wish that I had resources and power because I would create a production company that specifically specializes in doing mainstream movies representing all sorts of people from around the world, kind of thing, not just the art house movies that kind of go, but mainstream movies that go in theaters because that's what will change the world if we learn. Imagine if we actually understand and learn each other's traditions and cuisine and like I love the movie what's it called, like Beckham.
Oh, Bend It Like Beckham?
Bend It Like Beckham. On the DVD that I have, at the end there's a bunch of Indian mothers and grandmothers cooking in the kitchen for like the special features, and I loved kind of learning how to grind the spices and stuff like that. There's we can learn so much from so many awesome humanity out there.
Well, if we don't add it in, you don't get any of that.
No, like those who just want to be white and in the U.S. and in the middle of the country, but they don't want to learn about the rest of the world. You're missing so much, and it's true. Like it's not just because we want is it honestly it will enrich you. It will make you a happier person when you learn how beautiful everybody is out there in the world, and you will be more loving and you will be more less inclined to attack people online. Yeah.
Well, and a lot of that is fear because it's fear of the unknown. And if you don't ever expose yourself to anything outside your, 3 block bubble that all looks like you, all believes exactly the same thing that you do, then yeah, you are going to think the whole world is evil.
Queer people are your friends. Indian people are your friends. Black people are your friends. Arabic people are your friends. Um, it's been pushed the narratives of the Indian taxi driver and the Arabic tourist or whatever. These are just narratives pushed on us by Hollywood, and we got to change that.
Absolutely. And that's why Tyler Perry started his own studio and put it in Atlanta and said, no, you can come visit. I want the black community to be able to come and be like, learn, see, do. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, but otherwise they're not going to get it. And the same thing with the queer community.
That's why my head was when I'm thinking about productions. I wish I had the money that Tyler Perry. I definitely like that's good for him because that's how you change the narratives. That's how yeah. Because I mean, but you know what? Only 100 years ago, not even black people were the maid in the black and white movies and the mammy and all that sort of stuff. So maybe another 100 years, which is sad. It's not going to be in our lifetime, but in another 100 years, things will change for the future generations. If we don't have COVID changes for in the future.
I do have a question circling back how you talked about media actually does help drive legislation. So you've been through, decades of a lot of real positive growth. And then now we're kind of right now, it feels to me in North America, we're kind of on a backslide because we're kind of erasing flags and everything for all the people who have lost their lives.
In the U.S. And in Alberta here, unfortunately.
Oh, shoot.
We have a problem in Alberta. They're doing the same. They're trying to imitate what's happening in the U.S. But in Ontario, I'm actually seeing more and more government officials and parties trying to, like I haven't had this many meetings with higher ups and mayors and officials and whatever to talk about how more can they do to make sure that this never happens in Ontario. That how much more they can do for inclusion, all that sort of stuff. It's been very promising, and I try to say this to the community is there are still people out there who loves us and value us and want to include us more. Unfortunately, it starts at the top, and at the top now in the U.S., there's a very hateful people. So I don't know if I answered your question.
Well, you're speaking in Canada, and you're not seeing as much of a backslide. Where down in the U.S., we're seeing quite a large backslide and complete erasure of traumatic things that have happened and pieces of history and lives and humans and just do you feel that as media helps with the visibility, the representation of like all people are people, is this going to continue to be this whole like one step forward, like you said, 20 steps back forever?
It breaks my heart because we are talking to a lot of queer people in the U.S. and the messages that I get for on the pink pages on TikTok or Instagram are heartbreaking. People are scared. People are terrified. People are, and yeah, I feel sometimes helpless because I'm physically I'm not there to be able to fight with everybody to fight, but I hope that at least with our messages, we try to pump up supportive and encouraging and uplifting messages to the community on our social media to remind them, not to give up, to know that they are seen, that they are beautiful and powerful and everything. So um, I think we need more of those messaging going out. Uh, I, uh, I don't know, honestly, I don't know what queer media in the US is doing to help uplift the community. That would be um, one area that I would recommend to queer people to reach out to their queer media and ask them to step up. If it was happening here, we would definitely be on the streets fighting with the community. So queer media in the U.S. can be just complacent and just about selling the advertising dollars. I know you have things like the Advocate and Out magazine and those things. They need to play their role in advocating. Um, but right now it's a very volatile environment. Like, you know what? Glad did great jobs in the past, all that sort of stuff. But I just feel like uh, the all your big organizations that have actually been integral even in changing attitudes in Canada because it works together. Um, right now, I just feel for them because it feels like they're working against the current. I just really wish them the best. They have an uphill, but you know what? With everything change always comes. I've seen it in 35 years. I've seen the ups and downs. So I'm pretty sure there'll be a better day. And just you just have to, you know what? There were not only 30, 40 years ago, we were still underground. We were still harassed by the police, but things changed and things will change again. Just don't give up. Don't give up. Queers, women, everybody, we have to keep fighting for representation on marginalized communities. We just have to keep fighting to protect the good people.
Our whole goal is to try and be out there in the queer community and being like, hey, we're safe. We're not going to treat you the way you've been treated in healthcare or in mental health care or physical health care. Like, I've been trying to go on, and as we spoke a while back, just trying to be there. Like, I'm safe. Just come and breathe.
And we need that, and so many people need that in this time. They need to feel the safety, the love, all that sort of stuff. So I don't know. Maybe kill them with kindness is the better approach. I don't know.
But also, like, knowledgeable conversations, like you were saying, like, come with data, come with facts. Do you have any for our listeners to kind of suggest, depending on where they are in the world and who they are, because we are across the whole United States, and actually we do get listeners in different parts of the world, which is kind of cool. Like, if they want to talk to someone or find resources or places to go, or if they do want to fight and try and advocate in the US here, where do they go?
That's what I think I'm going to refer back to that. Reach out to your queer media. Reach out to your local organizations. Reach out to GLAD and those bigger organizations that have done a lot of work over the years. See what their advice is of how can you be involved if you want to be involved. How can you be safe if you're feeling unsafe? Um, most cities, the bigger cities, have some governing body of queer organization or something, people, etc. Yeah, don't leave yourself alone if you feel alone or scared or jeopardized. Reach out to somebody. I mean, reach out to the big places. All what I can give you is a loving message because I'm not in the U.S., but we do respond to all community at least with love and kindness. Um, because we have to support one another. We have to support one another. We have to care for one another. We have to understand that a queer person in a little town somewhere where they're scared, somebody has to try to help them and stand with them, kind of thing. So, yeah.
Thank you so much. Is there anything else that we didn't cover that you'd like to put out there into the world?
No, I think we covered a lot. Actually, I think this was a fantastic conversation, and I'm sorry that we're talking in a times where there are some turmoils and stuff like that, but also You know what? We have been one of the most resilient communities in the history. We have always persevered. We have always fought with joy, with glitter, with high heels and glitters and wings. So yeah, I mean, yeah, change will come, and we're yeah, every queer person, every woman, every minority, every you're all loved and seen, and you are valued. That's all I can
And
say.
I feel like this is the perfect time to have this conversation, because when it's all good and happy and everybody's flowing and the world just feels fine, it doesn't get as much fire built, and it doesn't get as much people ready to go and like storm the streets.
Keep fighting. We've done it. We've done it before. Like I said, when I have marched. I have laid in the middle of the intersection on the ground. You gotta, but be careful also, and be careful and be safe, because right now there are some evil forces happening. Yeah. So yeah,
Awesome.
know what you're doing. Know where you don't try to fight with groups. Try to be involved, so you're protected by other queer people or organizations, whatever, that can fight with you. But yeah, do something. Just yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. It was so great to meet you, and thank you for being on our show. I'm so appreciative.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Aria.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us for this powerful conversation. We hope it gave you the knowledge and the clarity you need for your month.
If you found yourself nodding along today, don't keep this to yourself. Share this episode with a woman who needs to be reminded that her story is valid and she is not alone.
You can find all links to our guests, the resources we mentioned, and of course, the direct link to Head to Toe Strength in the blog show notes.
We'll be back next month to continue bringing you out of the maze and back to your center. Until then, remember to be seen, be heard, and keep choosing the path of genuine strength.
Take care.